Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Definitely.
So it's this English learning podcast called Daily Money Briefing.
Huh. Interesting. Okay.
It's actually pretty cool. You get the
Yeah.
financial news and kind of a language lesson all in one.
Oh, I like that. Sort of killing two birds with one stone.
Exactly. Today we're really trying to cut through some of the noise.
Yeah, there's a lot happening.
Exactly. We want to give you a clear view on some pretty big shifts in the global economy. We've been digging into global markets in flux, tariffs, dollar, and stimulus to pull out the key insights, basically helping you understand how global trade, currencies, and stimulus efforts are all connected right now.
They're not just happening at the same time. They're actively influencing each other. It's a really critical moment for economic policy, even geopolitics.
Okay, so let's unpack that a bit. First up, those trade tensions. The U.S. government is putting serious pressure on trading partners.
That July 8th deadline.
Yeah, a firm deadline. Settle tariff talks by then, or face, well, steep tariffs. President Trump's recent comments really hammered this home.
Makes you wonder, though, is it a final position or maybe, a tactic, trying to squeeze out last-minute concessions?
That's the question. And look at the lobbying groups, like the Pharmaceutical Research and Manufacturers of America, PHRMA.
Right, they're definitely involved. They want the U.S. to tackle what they call unfair pharmaceutical policies overseas.
Policies that, in their view, keep drug prices artificially low in places like South Korea, Australia, Canada, the EU, too.
So it's broader than just general tariffs. It's specific industries using this leverage.
And all this trade pressure, it obviously doesn't happen in a vacuum, right? It hits market confidence. It hits currencies.
Which brings us to the dollar. And this is pretty dramatic.
It really is. The sharpest drop for the U.S. dollar in, 52 years? Down over 10% just this year?
You literally have to go back to 1973. That's when the whole global system changed, post-Bretton Woods.
But quite a historical parallel.
Absolutely. And if you connect the dots, this huge slide seems fueled by a whole cocktail of worries.
Like what specifically?
Well, President Trump's unpredictable moves on tariffs and security, that's definitely one big factor. But experts are also pointing to other things.
Okay.
Things like rising fiscal deficits, the government spending way more than it takes in, fears the U.S. credit rating might get downgraded.
Which would make borrowing more expensive.
Exactly. And also concerns about the Federal Reserve's independence. Worries that political pressure could undermine trust in monetary policy.
Wow. So any one of those could shake things up. But
Yeah,
together...
a perfect storm, yeah.
Okay, so we've got this aggressive trade policy, a dollar that's weakening significantly. What happens next? Countries look inward.
Precisely. When international markets feel this volatile, shoring up the domestic economy becomes key, which leads us to stimulus efforts, like in South Korea.
Right, they just passed that huge supplementary budget, 13.2 trillion won.
Which is about, $9.5 billion US dollars, a significant amount.
And it's aimed squarely at boosting domestic demand.
Exactly. And the main tool is this really interesting consumer coupon program. It's tiered, targeted.
How does that work?
Well, for example, most households get around 250,000 won. But if you're receiving basic living subsidies, you might get double that, up to 500,000 won.
So very specifically designed to get money into people's hands, depending on their situation.
That's the idea. Put cash directly into the consumer economy.
And I saw analysts are already predicting who benefits.
Oh, yeah. Dining, restaurants, general retail stores.
Electronic payment companies, too, I bet.
Definitely. They're all expected to see a big jump in transactions because of these coupons. It's a direct injection.
So pulling this all together, it's quite a picture. Aggressive trade moves, a historic dollar drop, targeted domestic stimulus like South Korea's.
Which leads to a crucial question, really, for you listening. What are the broader implications here when you have these big shifts happening all at once? The tariffs, the currency swings, the stimulus. How does that change the way countries deal with each other economically?
Right. And how might those changes eventually ripple outwards and maybe affect your own financial world?
It's something to think about.
Definitely. So what does it all mean? We've looked at this interplay trade policy, the dollar, stimulus using South Korea, tying it together.
It's a complex web.
Absolutely. Actions in one area really do echo through the others. As you listened, what stood out? Any surprising facts or maybe an aha moment that connected the dots for you? Thanks for diving deep with us today.